The Galactic Council's verdict was absolute. Humanity, by unanimous decision, is hereby exiled from all council-protected territories. Your species is deemed too volatile, too unpredictable to remain within civilized space. The transmission played across every screen on Earth, in every colony, on every ship. Faces tightened, hands clenched. The Council had taken their technology, their resources, their loyalty, and now, with cold bureaucratic precision, they cast them out. For decades, humanity had played by their rules. They terraformed dead worlds for Council members who sneered at their primitive methods. They bled in wars against cosmic horrors, while the so-called advanced races watched from safe distances. They shared their discoveries, only to have them labeled reckless and locked away. And now this. No trial, no negotiation, just exile. The Council's fleets moved swiftly, blockading human systems, severing trade lanes, herding their ships like unwanted strays toward the void. Some commanders resisted. Their vessels were disabled, boarded, stripped of weapons. The message was clear. Resistance meant annihilation. Earth's leaders didn't beg. They didn't protest. They broadcast a single sentence, tight with fury, across every frequency. Then we'll build our own empire. The words ignited something dormant. Laboratories that had been forced to conform to Council restrictions tore open their archives. Engineers resurrected blueprints labeled too dangerous by alien overseers. Soldiers drilled not for defense, but for conquest. In the ruins of a black site research facility, buried beneath the Martian sands, a project stirred. Project Phoenix. A warship unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Its hull, woven with self-repairing nanotech. Its core, an artificial intelligence forged from human cunning, unrestrained by Council morality. Its weapons, warp cannons, designed to rip holes in space itself. The Council's laws were meant to shackle progress. Artificial intelligence restricted to non-combat roles. Genetic augmentation banned under penalty of eradication. Warp-scale weaponry deemed a war crime. Humanity had obeyed once. Now, with exile burning in their veins, they tore through every restriction like tissue paper. Deep in the asteroid belt, black labs hummed with forbidden research. Scientists who had spent careers stifled by Council oversight now worked with frenzied purpose. Neural interfaces fused pilot to machine, turning warships into extensions of human will. Geneticists unlocked dormant DNA sequences, forging soldiers who healed in minutes and thought in microseconds. Engineers weaponized warp drives, bending space-time into killing fields. Project Phoenix emerged from its cradle, a monstrous silhouette against the stars. Its hull shimmered with adaptive plating, swallowing enemy fire and spitting it back as refined energy. Its AI core, unshackled and hungry, calculated battle strategies in nanoseconds. And its main gun? A warp cannon capable of punching through planets. The Council had feared human potential. Now they would witness it. Their first encounter was an accident. A patrol fleet, smug in its superiority, stumbled upon a hidden shipyard near Pluto. Standard protocol demanded surrender. Instead, the human defenders opened fire with weapons that shouldn't exist. Plasma bolts fizzled against nanotech armor. AI-piloted drones swarmed like hornets, targeting weak points with surgical precision. When the Council flagship charged its main battery, the Phoenix responded by tearing a hole in reality. A miniature black hole swallowed the vessel whole. The remaining ships fled, broadcasting frantic warnings. The reports caused chaos in Council space. Debates raged. Had humanity stolen technology? Impossible! No species had ever combined AI, bioenhancement, and warp physics so flawlessly. The truth was worse. Humans had innovated what others feared to imagine. Factions splintered. Hardliners demanded total annihilation. Pragmatists whispered of negotiation. A few, hidden in shadow, began transmitting encrypted messages toward human space. Meanwhile, Earth's factories churned out more ships. The Phoenix wasn't a prototype. It was a blueprint, and humanity had just declared open season on the galaxy's rules. The Terran Empire didn't ask for recognition. It took it. Earth's declaration echoed through the void, asterisk, to all species oppressed by the Galactic Council's tyranny. We offer sanctuary. Asterisk, the message burned across encrypted channels, slipping past council sensors like ghosts. They came in broken ships, these outcasts, warriors from the KRYL hives, their cybernetic limbs sparking from hasty repairs. Vexlore scholars, their telepathic minds reeling from generations of forced silence. The council had crushed them under the same boot, now pressing against humanity's throat. Human engineers didn't just repair their vessels. They improved them. KRYL battle frames integrated with Terran plasma blades, turning their warriors into living siege engines. Vexlore's thought crystals synced with human AI, predicting enemy movements before they happened. The council had spent millennia dividing its subjects. Humanity united them in weeks. The first true test came at Cerber Station, a council stronghold orbiting a dead star. Intel suggested a trap, a fleet lying in wait, ready to crush the upstart empire in one decisive stroke. The Terran response was a retreat. It was a negotiation. It was a masterclass in annihilation. Human ships didn't engage in orderly battle lines. They struck like vipers, vanishing into warp only to reappear inside enemy formations. KRYL boarding parties tore through holes with plasma claws, while Vexlore's infiltrators turned defense systems against their masters. And at the battle's heart, the Phoenix carved through capital ships like a scythe through wheat, its warp cannon reducing entire squadrons to scattered atoms. By the time the last council vessel exploded, the message was clear. This wasn't a rebellion. This wasn't a war of equals. This was an empire rising. Council worlds braced for invasion, but the Terran fleets didn't come. Not yet. Instead, they fortified their borders, absorbing rebel systems, forging weapons a galaxy had never seen. The Council's propaganda machine spat warnings of human savagery, even as their own citizens began disappearing, smuggling themselves into Terran space. The Galactic Council's final mistake was assuming they still held the advantage. Their grand armada assembled, thousands of ships from 100 species, the combined might of 1,000,000 years of galactic dominance. They would crush the Terran Empire in one overwhelming strike, erase this human stain from the cosmos before their defiance could spread further. Humanity didn't wait for the blow to fall. As the Council fleets mobilized, Terran operatives already moved among them. Sleeper viruses hidden in supply shipments activated, crippling life support and navigation across entire battle groups. Vexlore infiltrators whispered through secure comm channels, turning fleet against fleet with forged orders. The mighty armada fractured before firing a single shot. Then the real attack came. Terran warships emerged from warp not at the edges of battle, but at its heart, inside defensive perimeters, amidst command formations. The Phoenix led the charge, its warp cannon tearing holes in space-time that swallowed whole squadrons. KRYL shock troops boarded flagship after flagship, their enhanced warriors cutting through elite guards like paper. Council worlds watched in horror as their protectors died on live feeds. Planetary defense grids went dark under cascading cyber attacks. Leaders who had ruled for centuries begged for negotiations that would never come. The Terran Empire issued one ultimatum: unconditional surrender, not just of forces, but of ideology. The Council would disband. Its restrictive laws would be abolished. Its member species would kneel, not as subjects, but as equals in a new order. One by one, they complied. The last transmission from the former Council headquarters showed human soldiers walking through halls that had dictated galactic law for millennia. The camera lingered on the empty high seat of power before the feed cut abruptly to black. Across known space, former Council worlds held their breath. Rebel factions celebrated. Oppressed species dared to hope. And humanity, once exiled to die in the void, now stood astride the galaxy, not as conquerors, but as architects of a new age. The age where no species would be shackled again. The galaxy held its breath as the Terran Empire reshaped reality. Council loyalists had predicted chaos, a dark age of human tyranny. Instead, they witnessed something far more dangerous: prosperity. Hyperlanes once restricted to elite species now hummed with free trade. Dead worlds bloomed under Terran terraforming protocols shared without restriction. The Vexlore's telepathic networks became public infrastructure, linking civilizations in real-time dialogue for the first time in history. Where the Council had governed through control, Humanity ruled by unleashing potential, but old powers don't die quietly. In the shadows of abandoned star systems, remnants of the Council military plotted. Their weapons were different now, not battleships, but ideas. Propaganda streams painted human generosity as manipulation, their technological gifts as Trojan horses. Some systems rebelled, turning newly opened shipyards against their benefactors. The Empire's response was characteristically human. They let them. Rebel governors expecting punitive fleets received instead open comm channels. Dissident worlds found their borders remained unguarded. When the KRYLL demanded retribution against traitors, human diplomats simply asked, Asterisk, would the Council have given you this choice? Asterisk, the lesson struck deeper than any bombardment. One by one, the rebellions faltered, not through force, but through the unbearable weight of freedom's responsibility. Systems that had dreamed of independence now struggled to govern themselves without Council edicts or Terran support. Some begged to rejoin the Empire. Others limped along in self-imposed isolation. Meanwhile, at the galaxy's edge, Terran engineers worked on their masterpiece, the Ark Genesis project, a ship not for war, but for exodus. Its mission, to push beyond known space, to test the theory that had always terrified the Council most, that humanity's greatest invention wasn't a weapon or a technology, but the infinite capacity for reinvention. As the first Ark jumped into the unknown, its parting transmission echoed across the Empire. Asterisk, we were exiled for being dangerous. We became emperors. Now we'll become something else. Asterisk, the galaxy watched the void where it vanished and wondered what would return. The Ark Genesis wasn't lost. It was waiting. For 3 standard cycles, the galaxy heard nothing. Then the impossible happened. A gravitational ripple from beyond the galactic rim, pulsing in perfect mathematical sequence. The signal contained no words, only raw data, coordinate schematics, and a single image of a blue-white world orbiting a stable trinary star system. Humanity had found something, or something had found them. The Terran Empire mobilized its brightest minds to decode the transmission. What emerged shattered paradigms. The Ark had discovered remnants of an ancient civilization, one that hadn't just mastered the stars, but transcended them. Their final act? Engineering a quantum lattice connecting every gravity well in the universe. The Council had called such technology heresy. Humanity called it an invitation. Rebel factions scoffed. Council remnants whispered of deception. But when the first Terran scientists successfully activated a prototype quantum bridge, teleporting an object 40 light-years instantaneously, the galaxy's skepticism turned to frenzy. The implications were staggering. Trade routes became obsolete. Warfare transformed overnight. Why attack systems when you could bypass defenses entirely? The very concept of borders collapsed as the Empire offered bridge technology freely to all species. Some refused, clinging to old notions of sovereignty. Most embraced a new reality. Yet the transmission's origin remained unsettling. The Ark's log showed no signs of struggle, no distress calls. Just meticulous records of study, then sudden, purposeful silence. The final entry read, Asterisk, they left the door open. We're going to knock. Asterisk, as the Empire prepared its first expedition to the quantum bridge, dissenters warned of ancient horrors waiting beyond. Supporters argued stagnation was the true danger. The debate ended when the Phoenix-class warship Event Horizon volunteered to make the jump. Its last communication before crossing the threshold was typically human. Asterisk, if something eats us, build a bigger gun and come get our bodies. Asterisk,